Derby County manager John Eustace has gave Derby County fans a horrific injury update over the course of the last 24 hours, and it's definitely not something which we all wanted to hear. It's certainly not something which we wanted to see for the youngster by the name of Owen Beck. Now, across the course of this video, we're going to be looking at all the injured players. We're going to be looking at their return to selection and how that is going to impact Derby County over the course of this upcoming weekend and weekends to come. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on all the injuries down in the comments, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. This is the Derby Digest. Let's get into it. Now, as many of you will know, David Ozoh came off versus Blackburn Rovers with an injury, and it was one of those where it certainly looked a lot worse than it was, and that is something which John Eustace has gone on to explain today. And I think it's very, very interesting hearing about David Ozoh's injury and the fact that he's actually only going to be out for another 3 to 4 weeks. Now, I think the most important thing about this is that David Ozoh isn't out for that long, which is huge. It's huge for Derby, it's huge for David Ozoh. But I think what's even more important is that I think we've got to be open and honest about the fact that I think it was a mental situation which meant David Ozoh didn't carry on versus Blackburn. Don't get me wrong, probably did the right thing not carrying on, because if he'd carried on, it probably could have made it worse. But I think it was a mental block. Now, we'll get into that a lot more in this video, but shall we get on to talking about Owen Beck? Now, unfortunately for Derby County, we brought in Owen Beck in the summer, a hugely talented left wing back, left back, whatever you want to classify him as. And ultimately, it's not quite gone to plan. Now, I have massive sympathy for Owen Beck. I feel really bad for him. I genuinely do, because I think this season was his opportunity to really kick on and really sort of make a name for himself in the Championship. Had a really good spell at Blackburn last year. Couple of injuries derailed his season, and then sort of as we came into this year, we was all thinking as Derby County fans, he can be incredible for us. We need someone in that position. We need someone in that position long term. And I believe his contract's up at Liverpool this summer as well, which meant that there was sort of an opportunity there for him to open the door for either a lower end Premier League move or a Championship move, potentially even back to us. Now, unfortunately, that has gone by the by, and he unfortunately is heading back to Liverpool. He's requiring surgery on a hamstring injury. I'm not entirely sure if he's had that surgery or not, but he is requiring surgery, which will see him out for the next 3 to 4 months, which means that he won't necessarily touch the training pitch again until about the start of April, which is it's absolutely devastating. And I think when we talk about Owen Beck, we've got to remember that there's a person at the heart of this injury battle, and he is going to be struggling at the end of the day. He is going to be devastated, and I really hope, and I know that his dad is sort of about on social media, but I really hope that the people around him are giving him the support that he needs, because I would hate to be Owen Beck right now. Your whole world is crumbling around you because you just can't get fit and you can't stay fit. And he was literally all he had to do was get through that game and he would have played first team for us heading into this weekend. So it's a real difficult position that we find ourselves in. Hopefully for Owen Beck, hopefully Liverpool, hopefully Derby County, we can all sort of help him in the right direction and sort of give him that guidance that he needs. I'm sure John Eustace will be just a phone call away. I'm sure the teammates at Derby County, his former teammates as well, will be keeping an eye on him, and hopefully that is the case, because I do genuinely feel really bad for him. Now, on to a couple of the injured players who were injured way before this press conference. So you've got Max Johnston. He was expected to be out until the end of December, and we wasn't necessarily expecting to see him back until early January, really. But he is back on the grass already, which is, in my opinion, absolutely tremendous. Now, that doesn't mean he's close to being back with the group. It doesn't mean he's close to getting back involved in matchday squads and anything like that. But I think the fact he's back on the grass, I think he's probably about 2 to 3 weeks away, maybe a little bit longer than that. I'm not going to sort of beat around the bush. And obviously, yes, if we go further than that 2 to 3 weeks, it could be January. But it's one of those situations for me where I think we've just got to take our time with Max Johnston. Joe Ward's come in and done impeccably well. There's no rush on him for me. Now, I know that Max Johnston will 100% have seen Scotland qualify for the World Cup, and he'll want to be in that squad. So he is going to want to be back fit, back ready, and back going and right on form heading into the second half of this season. And there's no point rushing to get back before Christmas just to go down with an injury again and rule himself completely out of potentially playing in the World Cup. Now, in terms of Lewis Travis obviously picked up, was it a calf injury? I'm pretty sure it was a calf injury or something along those lines, not long before the international break, which was when we then went into the setup with David Ozoh and Ebo Adams. It then ended up being Bobby Clark in there, and he has had to go for another scan. Now, this isn't because the injury isn't recovering, it's purely because he's not recovering at the rate that the club were anticipating he would do. Now, he's still a couple of weeks away, which is about where he should be. But we're going to have to sort of wait and see how long that's going to be. Obviously, with him having a scan today, we'll probably get some more information about that after the game at the weekend up against Watford, which is obviously a huge game in the Championship, an opportunity for Derby County to win 6 games in a row. Now, in terms of Liam Thompson, obviously you will have seen Liam Thompson bitting and bobbing around the squad over the course of recent weeks, with obviously David Ozoh and Bobby Clark forming that partnership in the middle of the park. You then had Ebo Adams step in at the weekend, and Liam Thompson, I don't believe he was on the bench. But it's been one of those situations where Liam Thompson picked up that injury early on in the season and sort of hasn't been able to get back into the squad, which I think it shows that we have strength in depth at Derby County, which is hugely important. But it also shows that, is there really a pathway for Liam Thompson? Now, I spoke about this on my main channel, which we'll bring all those videos over in time. We'll discuss these things on here in time as well. But it's one of those for me where I'm definitely sort of disappointed in the way that sort of situation with Liam Thompson has been handled, because ultimately I think if we hadn't signed Liam Thompson to a new contract, I think Kenzo Heldmine would probably still be here right now, if I'm completely honest. And I'm not necessarily saying that Liam Thompson isn't good enough, but it's certainly that sort of position where I just don't know where he fits in, if I'm completely honest. He's not sort of the right, in my opinion, obviously, not in anybody else's, is not the right sort of midfielder, what we need in our midfield at the moment as a midfield 2. He's not really technical. He's a bit of a... He's a worker. He is a worker, 100%. He is the perfect player to have for balance in a midfield 3, for me. You'll probably all remember Craig Bryson. I'm not saying that Liam Thompson and Craig Bryson are anywhere near on the same level, don't get me wrong, but Liam Thompson is that worker like Craig Bryson was. Now, Craig Bryson sort of had the end product and things to go with it, especially for at least one season, but it's one of those sort of circumstances where you just... As much as Liam Thompson is back and available for selection, will probably be in the squad on Saturday, it is sort of a weird situation to be in, where he was given a contract extension and ultimately doesn't really seem to be in the plans, especially with the introduction of Lewis Travis, the re-signing of David Ozoh as well. If I'm completely honest, I'm not sure about it, but we will wait and see what happens with that one. Now, obviously, that is it for the injury update. We will have a video out later today discussing everything from John Eustace's press conference. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you haven't done so already, check out the previous video. Derby County are reportedly targeting a £6 million move for a striker, but obviously you can let me know your thoughts over on that video. Now, this has been the Derby Digest. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.